Hey guys, Clint Darden, ClintDarden.com, and of course the house of biceps. All right, guys, I have not really scripted anything out, but I kind of have an idea of what I want to say. A lot of stuff has come out over the past week regarding Dave Hoff's big world record total, 3,012, maybe more. I don't really remember. More than a 1,200-pound squat as well. And his squat, as well as his deadlift, has taken an absolute ton of hits by a bunch of critics online. So I want to kind of address, that whole fact. How do those powerlifters get away with those super high squats? First of all, I just want to say to all the critics out there, more than likely, shame on you. I think it's so much easier today just to take every opportunity to knock someone down and to make fun of them and to poke fun of them rather than to give them any kind of compliment. And I think before you give any kind of kick in the teeth, you should take half a second and at least recognize what they did. All right, so I'm here set up in my squat rack, and I get a lot of comments that are very, very similar. A lot of people ask me why I don't box squat deep, why I don't go anywhere near parallel or depth, or why I box squat so high. And that became so common several years ago that I just renamed my box squats Denver squats because they were clearly a mile high, mostly filled with smoke. So I just want to point out a few things. I am here set up. Let me go ahead. Let me get to the bottom of my squat. And this is the box that I normally squat on. This is the height that I normally squat with. This is what I've pretty much always box squatted with. Let me go ahead and get this on my back and get down to the bottom. Clearly getting 500 pounds out of my briefs. Now here I am at the bottom. Now I make no claims that this is below depth. I make no claims that this is competition depth. I think this is probably a ½ inch, somewhere, 3/4 inch, I don't really know, above parallel, and that's good enough for me. I've answered the question 100,000 times about why I don't believe, hips tired, why I don't believe you have to squat below parallel to get maximum benefit, even for a power lifter, but especially for a strongman or really any other athlete for that matter. I think the important thing is how fast, how reactive you come up off of the box. I've never had a single lifter do box squats and then have issues on competition day removing the box and going well below parallel. Of course, they also tend to have a lot less injuries doing wide stance box squats than they do full squats in the first place. So let me get my legs back out there to my cheater width. That's basically where my arch is. Now I want you to look, we're talking about when they're judging powerlifting contests. I think for the most part, the rules are going to basically say that the crease of the hip has to be below the top of the knee. Now I think you can just beat the crap out of your kneecaps for a long time. I mean, this one here, I broke this one, so it kind of sticks up a little higher than this one. And if you look closely, this hip looks deeper than this one. I can't see the screen right now, but I can guarantee you right now, this side looks deeper than this one. And I think it's because this kneecap is always swollen and this one isn't. So maybe I need to get like kneecap implants. There's nothing in the rules against kneecap implants, but if I had some kneecap implants like this, if I had some Kardashian knees, man, I could squat a whole lot higher. But if the rules state that the crease of the hip has to be below the top of the knee, well, the crease of my hip is all the way down in here. And I'm not some big, ginormous guy, at least not anymore anyway. But the crease of my hip is all the way down in here. It's not the top of the thigh. It's the crease of the hip where they judge it at. Oh, man, my hips are fried. But now we still look, and the hips are still higher than my knees. Now, I can't see the screen, but let me just show you why everything looks really, really strange when you're watching a Facebook or YouTube video compared to, well, actually being there as a referee. Now, I want you to stop and take a second and look right here at the front of my power rack. Right here. Look at the front of that. Now, we can all pretty much say that my power rack is fairly level. It's not perfect, not in this room, but it's close enough for government work. Now, look at the back of this rack here. Notice how much higher the back of that rack is compared to the front. It's nowhere near parallel. Amazing, isn't it? Take a second and just look at it. Look how much deeper the front of that rack appears to be than the back of the rack. Now let's take a second again. Let me get into squat position. Now compare. Is there a difference between the distance of my knees in the front of the rack and my hips and the back of the rack? Am I really setting 4 inches above parallel like most people think that I am? Or can you actually see on the camera that everything that is farther from the camera lens appears to be much higher, including, but not limited to, my hips appearing to be much higher than my knees? So guys, I'm not going to sit here and say that the SPF squats are butt to the floor, they're super deep. But if all 3 referees give it 3 white lights, maybe it's got some kind of credit. Maybe there's something there that you didn't see on the video. I'm clearly not going to say that the SPF squats are anywhere near as deep as the IPF squats. But competing in the SPF or competing in the IPF is your choice. Your choice. And for the same people that just make claims that Westside Barbell pays the referees in the SPF for white lights, need to be making the exact same claims for the athletes and the coaches and the clubs that are competing in the IPF. Because I sure as heck have seen some squats absolutely buried that got red light for depth. And that's some crap. Man, I don't know what I want to say. Now I was really going to show you a video of Dave Hoff's squat that's got all of the criticism, but quite frankly, all of his squats over the last several years have gotten a ton of criticism. But I can't post the video because I wasn't there and I didn't shoot the video. And I'm kind of a copyright guy, and I've had some copyright issues with the YouTubes before, and they banned me for it. So I'm not going to push that button again and use someone else's video on my YouTube's channel. I am going to say that when you look at it, take a second and look at how that monolift is all cocked back, just like my squat rack is. And now his legs are at a lower angle than the squat rack. Maybe, just maybe, your criticism is wrong. Maybe, just maybe, he absolutely did touch the perfect depth. Thanks, guys.